A big focus, the US federal court has ruled that Donald Trump does not have the authority under economic emergency legislation to impose sweeping global tariffs. Now, this is a big deal, as you can imagine, because the US Court of International Trade's ruling could bring the administration's trade war to a screeching halt. By blocking entirely most categories of tariffs, the court effectively wiped out most of the regime Trump put in place since taking office, and the court, ruling in two separate cases, issued a summary judgment throwing out all the tariffs Trump imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. By the way, in case you didn't know, Trump used the 1977 law, which had never been invoked in a tariff situation, to unilaterally impose sweeping trade levies worldwide. The three judges, by the way, who heard the case were Reagan, Obama, and Trump appointees. And the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, has responded now to the ruling, saying the judicial coup is out of control. Toni Waterman has further details for you.
When Donald Trump enacted these sweeping global tariffs, he claimed he had the power to do so because the U.S. was facing a number of threats, economic and otherwise. And he cited trade deficits with many countries and the influx of drugs into the U.S. as proof. But the U.S. Court of International Trade in New York didn't buy it. They say that he overstepped his authority when invoking emergency powers to justify the tariffs, partly because these so-called threats, the trade deficits and drugs, aren't anything new or extraordinary as the law requires. These are issues that the country has been facing for decades. So invoking emergency powers, they say, is illegal. Now, this ruling could grind these tariffs to a halt, although it's not exactly clear when that may happen. But if it does, it would include 30% tariffs on China and that 10% universal tariff on most goods coming into the U.S., including goods from India. It's also unclear at this point what happens to the trade negotiations the White House has been conducting with dozens of countries, including India. There had been talk that part of that deal could be wrapped up as soon as next month. The Trump administration, though, has arguably lost a lot of leverage with this ruling in those negotiations.